Not happening in my house.
Oh, I never had 6.
Again, most people don't have 6 boys.
All right, there's only 4 at home, so.
Okay. What a reprieve. There's milk left. at the
God
end of
love
the
it,
day.
you still have hair. I have one that I have any hair left.
That's genetics, man.
Jesus. They think that I have dozen kids. Only 2.
2 is plenty.
2 is not. All right, 2 is 20.
Well, what did we say? We get this process started?
Do it.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here tonight. I'm mostly gonna let Michelle run the show because she's done all the hard work to get us here. So I know there's a few members of the public who are participating via the Zoom and listening in. Please raise their hands if they have questions or would like to add some perspective. I'll try to monitor that too. It's our first time trying to do this. We are recording this. It is live on YouTube right now on our YouTube channel. And then it will be there in perpetuity. So we can go back and say, what did we say we were going to do? We will take notes and try to keep an eye on things. Another task we try to do is if you have questions that staff can't answer, we will come back to you at the next meeting and with those responses. Gives a little time for the week to chew on that. With that, Michelle, do you wanna
Sure.
get started?
Yep, I have one question. I had some emails. Do you want provider agencies to be here next meeting? Most of them, just went up either the 3% that's in the policy or stayed the same. But I'm gonna answer the emails tomorrow after you guys decide if you think you
Sure.
need them to come.
So our next meeting is with the provider agencies. The policy doesn't specify that they have to. It's only if there's a request from the select board. We hadn't thought about the timing of that in terms of asking you tonight to have already looked at that stuff to determine who you want to see and who you don't need to.
Yeah, we're doing 4 topics on the 11th. So I just didn't know.
My feeling is if the ask is the same,
Yeah,
we don't need to waste their.
or the 3%.
Or the 3%.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, especially since it's short notice for them.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
What's the dynamics of this meeting? You're gonna go through presentation?
Yeah, just touch on the areas and then run through the line item and then talk about the capital. So I think there's just a reminder that budget memo has links to pretty much everything related to this budget process, as well as the presentation that was given at the select board meeting on the 27th.
And this.
And this
I added it.
everything is connected to itself. You find links to every document you could think of is within these. And then page 3 of the memo has Department 107, which is our Public Works Department. That has all of the big focus areas of ups and downs or changes. So I could click here and show you 107. It's a 2.1% increase. Our snow removal contracts are a 3% increase. We did increase, looked at both tree work and crack filling. We have a lot of roads that we've spent a lot of money on in the past 10 years, let's say. And we do have line of crack filling and tree work, but we have been sort of under budgeting that, and priorities have been, Seth can talk more to this, but priorities have been on the wider gaps. I put more money in crack filling to try to get some of the smaller gaps to try to preserve those roads. So it's little money goes a long way to preserve them long term. And then of course, tree work helps pull the limbs back away from the road and help dry it out. Because the worst thing that roads can handle is water.
So Kevin, you start with, were you gonna run through the presentation? Or that was what we saw at our select board meeting, no?
This is just Public Works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
for tonight.
all right.
Budget book has pages 9 and 10, which is the line item for Public Works. The presentation is just going through these things, so right now we'll talk about the budget and then we'll go into the capital and improvements. So I'm gonna jump into the budget book. And we can talk some of the line items. As I mentioned, snow removal was the 3%.
And on tech assistance, we're not funding that this year
I did not put any budget in there for this year.
because it's not needed from what I understand.
Well, there's always room to do that, but
Well, it's.
right now we're focused on the two priorities in the spending of cash we have now, which we haven't spent yet. That 30,000 is meant to help take care of Glidden Street. As well as any funding we need to do for Army Corps of Engineers on Liberty Street. To get those approvals done, so that's what that money's there for. Am I right, Seth, or is there anything else?
No, those are the two,
Okay.
yep.
And we're not funding any sand and salt shed maintenance this. It's all in such great shape, we don't need to do anything.
Well, we just spent $5,000, and you'll see it in your warrant next week, to address the electrical issues over there. So that has been resolved, but that was essentially what that maintenance money was for. You'll see in the, I think we put it in the capital.
Do we slide it back over into,
Yes.
yeah, where was it, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Capital has a big ask at that site for next year. So we can come back to that. That's why that's lined out.
We didn't put in the operating, that's correct. See,
Do we foresee the technical assistance having carry over?
Only if the Army Corps stuff doesn't get, I mean, it's just a matter of coordinating,
Yeah.
finding the right person and coordinating that.
Mhm.
That might get carried over some in order to take care of that. I assume the Glidden Street will be spent
Mhm.
before the end of the
I
fiscal,
know in previous years we've had,
moving money that way.
the timing of things just don't line up and it's not a reserve account, so it's just carrying over the amount that.
I don't think you'll have anything carried over from this year. We meet, Friday, don't quote me on Friday, maybe next Friday, I'd have to confirm, but, with Eric Calderwood from Calderwood Engineering, he's the one who did our survey work for Glidden Street, and they're gonna come up with a proposal for us to base community discussions off of for the reconstruction of Glidden Street. So basically, he's gonna get all of our subsurface stuff done and give us an overlay of what it would look like, for example, with a 18-foot travel and a 9-foot parking stall, 5-foot sidewalk, you know, what does that look like on the street? What does it look like if we only went to a 14-foot travel with a 9-foot stall or no parking or bikes, you know, those types of things. We'll come up with a generic kind of, Kevin at a staff level, kind of come up, this kind of the scope we're looking for. He'll put it on the plan, then we'll have a series of public meetings where we can have the public tweak, provide suggestions, input from the surrounding streets, because it's pretty vocal through there.
Mhm.
I don't think that there'll be any carryover as a result of that designing. At the end of that process, we should have a shovel-ready project to be able to reconstruct Glidden Street. So I don't think there'll be any carryover between that. To Kevin's point, I think where that will obviously come first, and whatever we have left over, if it will be consumed by the process to get the permit from Army Corps to potentially fill in, I'm gonna call it the gully, but the depression right over here, whatever you wanna call it, to eliminate that head wall, because there's really no need to it, kind
On
of.
Liberty Street.
Yeah, and realign the intersection where it comes up by the inn to kind of turn it so that you're at a closer to a 90-degree approach for the intersection, because right now you gotta really look back over your shoulder to come out onto the street right there, so.
The old lobster pound.
Yeah, right, yeah, that's exactly what it was.
So wait, did you say to eliminate their head wall?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the goal would be, I hope, I don't know why we have leftover funds, but we need to capture the drainage problem. We don't have necessarily a drainage problem here, but what we have is we have a problem getting the water that's collected by the small drainage system that surround town office, getting it down to that area, because that's the outlet for all the drainage up here. So town office, some of the ones out back here on the street come down through, they go across to your neighbor's property and they end up discharging onto the field. And then it goes daylight across the field and hits the edge of the road, travels the edge of the road to the culvert that goes through that concrete head wall. So the idea is to be able to capture the water in a small closed drainage system down there, eliminate the head wall, eliminate the fall off on the other side, so guardrails, so 3-to-1 slope on the back side.
Yeah.
Yep, and then that way we have a less infrastructure to maintain. But in order to do that, being in proximity to the river, we gotta have an Army Corps permit to be able to get that done.
And you meant fire station, not the office.
Sorry, yes, that is exactly what I meant, I apologize.
It's all good.
The old towns.
Yeah,
Yes.
municipal building, how about that?
So,
There we go.
The drainage all here, all goes down to that site.
So, my understanding of Army Corps is anything below, Pat.
Well, and you're correct, there isn't, but there's also, what I don't wanna do is not invite them with discharge with the water coming through here, with that being a fill extension. I would rather ask them, so maybe there won't be, maybe there will be a very limited permit, but I don't wanna just do it where we're so close to the river and be like, hey, by the way.
No, it's, I mean, it's good to,
That's the only reason I'm trying to plan for it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go back, Jen.
But to answer your question, we ain't carrying anything for next year, because hopefully those will all be in the works, expended and done, and we won't have any need, you know. That would be something, if we run into something, we'd have to bring it back to Kevin and you guys, and we could go from there, but.
Yeah, so the big changes, the reason, this is line striping, that was a carry forward. We did last year into that year just because of the timing of when it got done. So it is usually $10,000 every year for that purpose. The big changes here that I've looking to invest in is the tree work and the crack filling, which I mentioned before. So those are your larger increases in this budget for public works.
I'll expand on that crack filling stuff, just so you understand. We always had a lump sum, or we've had typically a lump sum right around $10,000. I start on every road that you've had a capital campaign on since I've been road commissioner, including the ones that you took a bond out prior to me, we crack fill. So starting way back with Lynch Road, when the first original bond were to rebuild that. So that road starting there, going across to Lewis Hill, coming up into North Newcastle Road, then going to West Hamlet Road, Academy Hill, the subdivisions off of Academy Hill. Those roads that you've expended significant funds on to pave and reconstruct, we crack fill every year. The reason that we have just a shrinkage in coverage of that particular product is because it's based on per pound, so you pay by the pound of rubber. Rubber is melted and put in the cracks. The bigger the cracks, the more rubber, the more weight you take, therefore the less amount of area that you do. So as the roads age, in theory, the cracks get a little bigger. Even though you've done some the previous year, you end up using more material in each road surface. So when we held the price the same, the cost the same, you essentially can cover all the same roads. But in what I've done is, as we've expanded and paved more roads, I've kept the dollar and told them to focus on just the bigger ones, because those are typically our bigger hazards, rather than like the little stuff on the side. So Kevin's point and what we're trying to achieve here is to basically do more detail work on each of the roads and still cover the same amount of roads as we've expanded. So it's just more reassurance. It's just a preventative measure. It's worth its weight in gold to keep the water out of the subsurface of these roads, try to keep your frost as minimal as possible. You guys have done a great job investing in your capital. So, things like this seem to be, people are like, oh, well, it doesn't really last. But I really find that crack filling is imperative to try to keep that road surface and that base as tight as you can. As long as you can do that, I think you're gonna sustain your pavement for much, much longer, and it's pennies on the dollar compared to paving, so I highly support that area, but that's the reason we kept it flat before and why we're looking for a little bit of an increase. The tree work, we originally was, bear with me. Ben probably can help me out with this, but originally our budget used to be about 35,000 for tree work, and then just over the course of the years through the capital where we've been working, haven't necessarily needed it, and also in due respect, trying to shave some money on the budget side, we've taken that item, still done the work, but shaved back on some of that. Well, it just doesn't take long. I mean, you can attest. I mean, these things grow like weeds. So we're losing some of it, quite frankly. We're getting some stuff that needs to be mowed back. We've gone to a mulching program. We've cut back less on cutting and actually just gone to mulching. It allows us to cover a much larger area faster. Environmentally, it's got some benefits to it. It seems to be a much more ecologically friendly solution than chipping it. So, we've gone to mowing and I asked Kevin, I said, listen, we've got some roads that we really just need to get back, open up the canopies on, get some sun. I would really like to see that be increased. He agreed. So that's the basis of what that increase was. It's fundamental in nature, not any one point specific area driven. It's just basic road maintenance.
So it's for the whole town, not a specific area or road.
We do have some target roads that we're looking to do. East Oak County Road for one is significant. I mean, that's gonna chew up a lot of it.
Even the dirt road portion of that, I mean,
It-
keeping. Yeah, I mean, when that's frozen and then thaws out and you can lose. You can lose a lot
Yeah.
of material there through the mud season.
But we, so East Oak County Road is a big focus area for that. We are also looking to go up on Hopkins Hill Road and do a fair amount on Hopkins Hill because we're investing in infrastructure on the bottom there, cut those back. We have, right now, we're working on Kavanaugh Road, I call it the bulb or the circle of Timber Lane. The end of High Street, which I can't mow just because of the proximity, but we're going in on High Street. That's overgrown significantly on that backside. And then quite frankly, the rest of it I wanna use on between Academy Hill and North Newcastle Road. We're going on the final overlay. Well, if it's approved, the capital plan has the final overlay on Academy Hill. So before, Academy Hill isn't bad. But basically, before I put the surface down, I'm trying to just get anything that is there so that it can be good for an extended period of time. We don't have to go back and do it. But East Oak County Road, quite frankly, will chew up a large majority of that because it is very, very bad. What else we got?
Do you wanna talk about the bridge one?
Yep, so we have a maintenance line in there for the bridge, you'll see.
On the bottom.
Zero for next year.
So it's zero for next year, but we have a carryover for this year. If you're questioning what that is about, we approved last year a capital improvement plan that was done by an engineering firm, which we had done when we did the bridge study. That outlined a program to coat your pilings. Long story short, we have.
Tire Neck Road.
Yeah, we have one way in and out of South Tire Neck Road, and so we thought it would be best to really protect that. The state rebuilt the bridge. 20 years ago,
Not quite,
15 years ago.
maybe 15.
Yeah, it's relatively new bridge, yeah, but it's coming, I got a head wall issue that's developed on the opposite side of Sheepscot Road on that head wall. And you're starting to see some of the coatings on the piling, which happens to be an anodized coating because, as you know, salt water has electrical charge to it. So it needs to be a special paint that is bonded directly to the metal in order for it to stick. This was outlined in a capital plan that was given to us by an engineer who came and did a study on the bridge, just so that we could develop this plan in particular to try to keep us ahead of the bridge maintenance so that we didn't get a situation where we had a derating of the bridge with people trapped, not trapped, but a diminished availability on the opposite side of the bridge. So that $20,000 was in last year's budget. It's currently out. I've got 3 requests out to Wyman and Simpson, CPM and Reed for pricing on performing that work for the bridge. But there's nothing in there this year because that plan doesn't have anything outlined for this year for work. I'm basically just following what was provided to us. We gotta watch the head wall. That will be something in the years to come, potentially next year. I'm not saying we're reconstructing a bridge. I'm just saying that we've had a shift in the concrete abutment on that side that started to separate a little bit. We just gotta pay attention to it. Maybe as simple as just kind of removing the backfill, getting it to lay back in, pinning it, we want to get it before it becomes something crazy, but we're watching that. They noted it on the report and we'll keep an eye on it. But that's the difference between the 20,000 and 0 for this year. The rest of it, that you'll see for increases noted is basically just general contract stuff and it's just market rate adjustments. We went up 11,250 this year from basically 9,894 last year. It's just an hourly labor increase that we've seen across the board. Same amount of hours, and these line items are nothing specific. These are your, general maintenance stuff. Kevin calls or you guys say, hey, I want something done. This is where we pull that money from. It's also where we pull, it's kind of like a slush fund in the event that we have small storms and stuff like that. Our labor, any equipment that we need are drawn out of these specific line items, for what the request is. Equipment, the breakdown for that is, basically it's 75 hours. You're pre-buying 75 hours worth of equipment for whatever the need might be. And material you're pre-buying or have the availability for $14,000 worth of material, which is just various types of aggregate, riprap, whatever it might be, whatever situation we get into throughout the course of the year. Yeah, we have no culvert plan for this year because our capital program is more paving based than it is building based. I think it's a fair assessment to say that until we decide which area, Kevin, I could need your help with how we wanna word this, but there are some areas in town that need some work that are a little bit more sensitive to construction than other areas, and until we make a conscious decision to tackle those areas, that's kind of where we're at with the capital program.
What does that mean? Sensitive?
Politically sensitive.
Diplomatic and, talking about the neighborhoods? Is that what you're?
Sure.
When the community, my predecessor focused on East Oak County Road and some of that area. The intent was to try to get that area done at the same time or within a few years of each other.
Thank you.
West Oak County, yeah.
I'm sorry, West Oak County. Road.
West, yeah, sure.
So like Kings Highway didn't get taken care of at that time, and the question, do we come back to that at some point? But right now, we can jump to, I mean, unless there's other questions about the line items at this stage for Public Works.
There's no real big changes other than just pretty fine.
Things we just talked
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
right? We can jump to the next topic. Capital improvement.
So to carry through, there's no culverts in our line item this year because we don't have a large capital project plan for actual
Yeah.
excavation. Which we always carried those items at a direct cost in that part to roll over on a capital, but since there isn't any, it's there.
Go add it to this presentation. Right now, we're on it.
Oh, Seth, I have one just sort of off the wall question, doesn't quite pertain, but before we go into the 5-year capital plan. The snow blower,
Yes,
how many hours are on? How much use are we getting out of it?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I'd have to go look at the hour meter, but I can tell you what, the other day, it was fantastic.
I'll bet.
It worked great.
Yeah.
I mean, we
That
were.
big storm.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a pretty good thing worked out with the Damascotta crew. They come across the bridge and they come this way and we go that way. So they take our little pot, when we're coming down through from the bridge, from where our pile is to where the town line is, they'll take it with them when they go back across.
Gotcha.
And on the other side, they bring that to us. So
And push it into the
we've
pot.
got kind of like a mutual aid thing
Yeah.
kind of going,
Yeah.
right? We kind of work back and forth. And so they stack it up and I don't know, to be honest with you, I think some of the guys got some photos and if I can get them, I'll share them with Kevin and the board, but
Yeah.
we had a massive pile of snow down there and it was slicker than dog snow. Perfect. It was good.
Good.
It was a very good thing and I can get you the hours. That's
Yeah, I
all.
just honestly
a
just
snowy
curious.
winter.
It's been a snowy winter and I'm
It's been
just
great.
like, how much is it getting used? Curious.
It's fantastic. We've had no problems with, keeping spots open. We've had no pedestrian conflicts.
Good.
When we're stacking it, we're basically consuming the sidewalk. The other side's been staying open. So to my knowledge, I don't think we've had any complaints about it. So we had some concerns about that initially and those have been pretty much negated. So it's worked out pretty well.
No, outside of the municipal right away, there's been plenty of calls, but.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yes, yes.
Well, we can touch on the capital plan.
Sure.
So the approach we took this year was, we asked Seth to price out, a handful of things. In fact, about $1.9 million worth of things. The budget I held flat, on $900,000 for its capital needs. So this is kind of a conversation and, there's a link in the presentation too that includes the write-ups. Essentially the scope of work for each of the different projects. You can look at too, but, just getting an idea of what do we want to prioritize? And as Seth mentioned, these are all paved projects. We're not doing any reconstruction projects or looking to do any reconstruction projects for fiscal year 27. We mapped out sort of what we thought for assumptions in future years again, but didn't put prices behind those. But obviously, if we kick things further, other items also get pushed out. So as you look through that list of some 20 potential needs, you know, what else is gonna get pushed out in future years to make sure that we're not overspending in a given year?
I will, just draw your attention in particular to, is it line number up there? It's gonna be 8. Okay,
North Newcastle Road?
no, sorry, line,
Oh, these.
I apologize, yeah,
Glidden Street.
yep. So that $60,000 is kind of a technical system. We have the 30 that we're working on to get the process started. That is the line item that kept, it's a guess. It's a very educated guess, but that is the remaining of the funds for the design for the rest of Glidden Street coming out of there instead of technical assistance. Does that make
Yep.
sense?
It's not the actual redoing of everything.
No, no, but my suspicion is that between what we have and what is in there with all the design fees associated, we added that into this capital side this year instead of on the technical systems to be able to have that project be ready. So when you see that, that's what that's about. It's in addition to the 30. Just technically the 30 was from last year, we just haven't expanded it yet.
Well, then construction would be another year out.
Correct.
Doesn't it make sense to do Pump and Cross Street and Clinton Street all in the same?
That's, yes, so I'm gonna kick that out.
Pick
to-
both of those to
Yeah.
28.
Well,
So the only reason that we even had those in there for your discussion was because since the reconstruction of Pump and Cross would be limited, but we did the water line work. There's a trench and stuff down through there, so it was just an overlay. Those are costs in there for you to see if you wanted to overlay the area before that got reconstructed. That's the only reason that it's there.
Hopkins Hill Road,
Yep,
where,
we are,
there's major work gonna be done.
yes.
This year, yeah.
So
Okay, so then this is for
shimmin over.
after shim and overlay.
all this is the finished stop to everything that we're doing this year. So we just ordered all the culvert and catch basins today for that project. We will be up there in the next couple of weeks getting started. But the capital project from last year, that we're into right now, covers your road reclamation, your ledge blasting, your driveway culvert stitching on both sides, your closed circuit drainage system, your curbing, your grading, and your base pavement, everything to be project ready. This is just your surface pavement and shoulders on the top, so this is the finish. So it's kind of like just taking it in chunks as opposed to all one big thing.
How far up Hopkins Hill Road does the project go?
Right to the current end, I'll call it, again, the bulb, the little turnaround, the expanded area. It does not go, if your question is about down to where the cemetery access is, it does not go that far.
It stops probably right before that dirt part that goes to the cemetery.
Yes, exactly. I just know by, you see the Lothrop's, her house, their driveway's right there on the left that ends just past that.
Cause I always thought the dirt road happened much sooner. It was hard to tell there was actually pavement. at the
Correct,
front.
yes, yes. But yes, no, I did not plan to do anything really from the section where the turnaround is to the entrance. I'll call it the entrance to the cemetery, because it can go further. The road, actually, right away goes further, but most people only travel to where they veer off to go into the cemetery. But I did not do anything down on that section. That is dirt and
Yeah, it's fine.
Well, Seth, will there be anything in next year's budget on Hopkins Hill then?
Nope.
This is
this is it.
okay, no.
Yeah, Hopkins Hill will be done. We did a little write-up I'm sure Kevin can share it with you as well, but general scope of the work up there is. We have approximately 200 foot drainage, closed drainage system starting at the top of the hill. I refer to it as station right, starting at Route 1 going up over the hill, so station right hand side. Road will be super elevated to the left, which means cross drainage to the right. We'll establish a curb line on that right hand side, close drainage down through there, discharging in the same point that it currently discharges. We'll also come across Hopkins Hill Road to station left and put a basin in a field inlet to pick up that drainage line. All the driveway culverts down through there currently come down through a ditch. And we'll pick it up on that side, get it underneath the road and discharge it. It all goes to a culvert that ultimately comes across Route 1, which comes out right here, pretty close to it.
Which just adds to the pile of water that ends up here that needs to get drained out that way.
That is partially, yes, that is all, yeah, it does go downhill, it's kind of funny like that.
But
So you'll have closed, we've got 4 4-foot basins. 18-inch under drain pipe, granite curb down through there. The super elevated section on the left-hand side I've allowed to adjust back into. Most of those driveways are gonna have to be gone back due to the elevation change, you know, we're talking inches, but in order to make it smooth transition, it's gonna set back. And all of the driveway culverts on the 5 driveway culverts coming down over the hill on the left will all be changed. To allow for that field inlet to work on the bottom of the hill. So, should be a nice little addition, we've had problems up there with erosion, it'll clean it up. It'll give some defined driveway entrance and it'll handle the water moving forward. It hopefully will eliminate, the whole plan here is to eliminate all the sand and settling that we have at the end of the road. I apologize, I don't know who owns it now, but it used to be the furniture, used to be country farm furniture. There's always a big pocket of sand there where the stuff comes down over, settles out and then runs into the ditch on the left hand side, so. I've had some complaints about that, it's wicked hard to follow, it happens every rainstorm, so it'll eliminate all that. There's some pretty decent sized trees up through there that are really close to the road. We'll be taking those trees and it's slightly widened, it's about 16.5 feet right now, and we're making it the standard what we've done in the rest of the town of 18. So.
I know there's been, with, just mentioning those larger trees, I know some of the larger storms we've had in the past, I don't know, 10 years or whatever, that road has been blocked off before because of some of those large trees coming down.
Yeah.
in windstorms, and that's not a good situation to have when you have a dead end road like that. Try
Yeah,
to avoid those sorts of incidents when you can.
it's a pretty comprehensive project. It needs to be done, and I think it'll solve a lot of problems. This budget item here, you know, puts the finishing touch on it. Let's see, we'll start right at the top, just real briefly give you an idea. River Road sidewalk is a finishing of the continuation, what we'll be doing in the spring. We have roughly 1,000 feet that's already in your budget, which we done this spring. This amount covers from there, tying it into the entrance of Lincoln Home, this side of the big entrance to Lincoln Home, not the one down back, but the main entrance to Lincoln Home. So it completes River Road sidewalk reconstruction, same dimensions and scope that we've been doing. Just like we did by the church and down by the Shuck Station, same exact scope, same, nothing any different.
so we have, much in the budget for this year? to do?
For the sidewalk,
Yeah, like 200.
Michelle, beat me.
I'm in the wrong spot, so I don't know.
Should have approximately 247,505.
Okay. So that. They shouldn't,
There it is.
What we budgeted this year went down pretty much.
It's like I'm looking at
The,
It's 1,000,
end, right?
yeah, well, it's even, no, well, yes, the inn on that side, yes, it's close, it's 1,000 feet from here.
Mhm.
It's, we got 1,000 feet of reconstruction down.
And then-
I can tell you right now, so the remaining portion is. Either one. Approximately 450 lineal feet.
left on the.
Yeah, he has it. Yes. There's a write up for each of these as well.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah. Hopkins Hill, we just went over, that was, pretty much it. Fire station,
Academy Hill Road.
Academy Hill Road, yep, okay, so Academy Hill Road is, when we finished the capital project of Academy Hill reconstruction, we ended, you know, don't hold it to me exactly, but approximately, I'm gonna say 500 to 800 feet north of the entrance to where the water tower is. That was the joint line where that project ended. And ever since then, we've been taking approximately 1,000 feet a year, and I've been reclaiming just the bad spots. As you may or may not know, a little bit of history, the town was well before me. I think we were in school. The town bonded and rebuilt that whole section of road down through there. So in general, generalized speaking, the road base is not, it's not horrible. It's not like it's clay and then really, really bad. It's lasted, you know, you've gotten a fair amount of time out of it. So we've been taking a small amount, roughly about 1,000 feet a year, reclaiming it, just grading it and basing it and putting an intermediate. This request here is to do a shim from that joint I just mentioned from the capital project over to the end and overlay it all. So that'll put, it's the cap, that's the finishing on Academy Hill to be done from that point to the end of the road.
All the way up to 215.
Yep, all the way, yep. I can give you, I put some of the description in there as well, but it's approximately 6,400 lineal feet. Planning on a 3/4 inch shim, 2 inch surface. That gives you a really good structure for your road. That should buy you some decent time because we've done 2.5 inch base material and 1.5 inch intermediate for a total of 4 right now. So your total pavement structure on that road will be 6 inches, which I think is very much industry standard and adequate for a road that's that busy. That's where I'd want you to be. I mean, just think of if you overlaid, if you didn't do anything and you just shimmed it and overlaid it, you know, if you could picture in your mind how much 6 inches would be, we're trying to put back what's there to take that load every year. So I think that's a very, 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 very good amount. We have 2 foot shoulders. This number covers 2 foot shoulders. From that cut line where the old capital project was for Academy Hill rebuild down through. It's as simple as it gets. It's a shim and overlay. Not a lot of real fancy technical jargon to that. It's just.
Just a
finishing
slightly
off.
thicker overlay than you see on some of those patch job or those quick cleanup jobs.
Yeah, I mean,
What do you, when like, the street I live on, 235, that got an overlay, what, 5/8?
yeah, so yeah, LCP, we typically try to get for 5/8, you know, 1/2 inch to 5/8, depending on what they want for yield, but those roads are on a 7-year rotation. So DEP has those, every LCP road is on a 7-year rotation,
LCP.
like capital paving.
And so
Yeah, right, it's just,
Yeah,
right,
that's what they
so
did up
that's
here.
why the inch and
It
a
is,
half
yeah,
is a good indicator of the strength of the thickness indicates the strength of the addition to that road.
Okay.
we use completely different mix when we use in 4.75 millimeter rock. Where in this, what we'll have is 9.5, so 9.5 millimeter rock, so you're doubling essentially the size of the rock that you're getting in your material. You get your strength out of your rock, that's really where you get your
I
strength.
say that must be a much stronger asphalt.
It is, all your bases, so you guys, for whenever you do any projects, if I die tomorrow. So your base is 12.5, which is 1/2 inch, and your, what we call for our strong base is 3/4 inch, so we go 3/4 on. Or 19 millimeter, either way, call it either same thing. That's your bottom layer, your intermediate layer of 12.5 or 1/2 inch, either you can call it either way. That's the middle, and your surface is usually always 9.5. The reason that the state goes 4.75 for LCP is because you can't put two 9.5 millimeter rocks on top of each other and compact it because they're greater than the 5/8 that we're trying to lay. When you crush rock, don't have any aggregate or liquid between the two, that's called, you get your segregation, it starts to delaminate and your road falls apart. So the key is to always have more than what your nominal size of your rock is supposed to be 1.5 times. So if I'm laying a 9.5 rock, I want to have 1.5 inches material, make sure I have sand and liquid around that rock, so that if I get two stacked together, I'm good, I won't have any. You don't want to fracture your rock when you compact it, it takes away compaction of the road. Sorry, is that too much? I apologize.
I love it. No, good.
Good information.
Yeah. learning about all that stuff now too, so awesome.
The, let's see, where we going now?
Fire station.
What do you mean that fire station parking lot's lovely?
I was just walking out in front of the fire station today, noticed the huge divots where the trucks come in and out, the weight on that has to be addressed.
The whole thing's terrible.
And I don't wanna spend too much money if we are gonna have a future conversation about relocation of town office or any kind of movement of this road or any kind of drainage cleanup. I don't wanna spend a ton of
Oh,
money,
very good.
but the need is so great right now to just try to fix some things. I did ask him to price that one out.
Oh, yeah, so the $30,000 that we have for the fire station is for design consultation fees. Of what we wanna do for rebuilding, grading, changing of the intersection, potentially and how we want to restructure the area around town hall. For the future potential
Fire station.
right, yes, I'm
But
sorry.
what is it for just doing some paving work?
I no, this is
This is for.
basically for engineering before we do any paving, cause we don't wanna pave and do a lot of work and then rip it up.
I meant more like, I'm worried about what's
Out
in front
front.
of the fire truck, in front of the station here. Where
Oh.
there's such divots from the
Trucks
trucks
going
coming
in
in
and
and out,
So
that's,
that's my fault. I didn't give you those numbers. What I gave you is for
Okay.
Calderwood to come in and help us get an idea. We had provided last year a price for redoing the parking lot, which we decided not to do
Right.
under our capital campaign. So I can definitely do that. That is my error in that. What I put in there was conversation with Eric to come in and help me with the design for intersection relocation. If we're gonna change the grade to what the grade might be to interface with a building, so that if we built it, we know what we're building ahead of time, so that we're not redoing it twice. So that's what that $30,000 for design on that side is. So that's my bad, Kevin. I apologize.
it's okay.
I didn't give you the right information for there, but.
So I think, sorry, I just want to clarify, you had mentioned the town hall and the sort of explanation.
I meant here. I apologize.
Yeah.
I should be more clear in fire.
Well, yeah, yeah, I think that.
So they would probably, yeah, aspect of that would be trying to figure out how to catch the water coming off this building and that sort of stuff, like what to do with the water that's coming off of River Road,
Correct.
drainage, that sort of stuff, and then where the road, where the discontinued portion of Liberty Street and that sort of.
That, and to be honest with you, the bigger concern is what we're doing back here for this community. As this, we had another house add into it. If we don't clean that drain out every couple of years, they start to flood.
Yep.
The basement start to flood. So the intent here is to, if we raise this elevation and change the street elevation and effectively affect what that drainage is out back, how are we gonna capture that and get that to work in conjunction with Pleasant Street, because we drain from here down through there, so it's kind of a web that's kind of woven together. But I can easily come out here, add a foot, right, and it's gonna be great coming around this side of the building because we're higher. But on the back, where we have access going into the basement, that's gonna be problematic. So we've got a grade issue here that we've got to solve to make sure that the drainage, the street, any potential building and an intersection realignment, if we bring the road out wider to allow for a parking area, if this gets expanded out, how does that all look? And that's what I have the 30,000 is for them to start to put that picture together so that we have a basis to make decisions off it. So,
Well, and along with designing with potential redesign of where Pleasant Street comes out onto Liberty Street comes out onto River Road.
right,
The need for the pass through here is different.
100%. 100%. And I just wanna make sure that whatever we do down there, we're not restricting what we have for water capacity up here. I wanna make sure that we're looking to the future down there, because the worst thing we can do is build it too small and then have to redo it, right? So if we're gonna affect some of the drainage around here, making sure that is adequate enough to be able to handle whatever you guys decide to do. I mean, maybe you decide to terminate the road and just put a bigger parking lot out back, but if you have more impervious area, I don't want it to be restricted by what can be held down there, so. same type of thought processes of trying to get these things done first. I think it was a good thing that we held off last year and didn't do that capital, because we could have a brand new parking lot and then come to find out we gotta rip it up and do it again, you know, and I think that's bad, good money on a bad solution, so. That 30,000 is the same light as what Glidden Street is for 60,000, is to try to get that together so that we have a plan to work off of. Yep, the Glidden Street, the stormwater design, we talked about that, that's a placeholder again. For him to come in and finish that design, get us through those 3 meetings with the 30 that we have already in our budget lined up. I think we're gonna be right there. I would not be surprised between Glidden Street itself to be roughly that 60, the 30 for fire station to have a little bit of impact, our 30 that we have in our current budget to be used as the catch-all between whatever we need to left over for Liberty and a little bit on Glidden. So it's like our contingency almost of what we have. But I can easily think, you know, 100 grand between these 3 projects for sure. Timber?
Pump and cross.
Yep, we pushed those just
Oh.
because they're maintenance, you're all good. No, you're,
Timberland.
so timber, back before me, Steve went in and paved from the cul-de-sac or the circle out on Timber Lane, he didn't do the round portion. Basically, I have allowed for, I think it was 2,000 feet.
I don't have that right up.
That one you don't have?
No.
I can get it to you, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just timber. Timber. So yes, so it's 2,000 lineal feet, approximately 18 feet wide. Which brings the paving, if you start at the apex of the cul-de-sac and come all the way around, it brings it back down to roughly where the power lines cross. In there, just as a geographical reference. It's again, it's just a shim and overlay, there's nothing real fancy about it, there's no culverts down through there. I do have, sorry, I was thinking about culverts, there's no culverts in there to replace, so there's nothing in our maintenance budget for it. And tree wise, part of the increase for the trees is to go in and do some tree work down around there and just clean it up and open it up a little bit.
Road is there, can't even see it.
Yeah, that's right. Point taken. So, talking 1/2 inch shim and 1.5 inches. So you can see the difference here. It's a 1/2 inch less on, you know, a little bit less over traveled road, than Academy Hill, which we planned for a 2 inch for obvious reasons. Traffic load is significantly lighter on that. But 1.5 inch surface and a 1/2 inch shim, so. Gravel shoulders, same exact scope. None of this has changed. We're not, recreating the wheel here by any stretch. 2 foot wide shoulder machine, shoulder install with gravel on the outside edge. More just maintenance work than it is anything else. Where we got, North Newcastle?
Yep.
So, you know, unfortunately, we tackled this several years ago when John and the board wanted, you know, we had a lot of issues out on North Newcastle Road for sure. And we overlaid it and if I remember correctly, that was about 10 years ago. So it's time, it's starting to crack, we gotta do something with it. We kicked the can down the proverbial road as far as we didn't wanna reclaim it, we didn't wanna rebuild it. That road is sandwiched, by that I mean, you've got about 2 feet of gravel over the original road. And then it's paved on top of that, so it's sandwiched with hot top, you know, there's clay and stuff on the bottom, pavement, gravel over the top, pavement.
Not the whole way.
Huh?
It's not the whole way.
It is not the whole way, no. We
had a cord.
We did, yeah. And we thought that we would buy us some time, and we did. And, you know, it's just now we really need to start thinking about how you want to handle it. If you take a serious ride out through there and look at it, you're gonna see some pretty good cross-checking. And it's just, you know, if we're gonna keep it and not get it to a point where we have to worry about it. We gotta either overlay it again. And what I had in here, just as reference. Again, so this one here is a 1/2 inch shim and 1.5 inches. And the reason that's only 1.5 inches, even though it's a very highly traveled road, is because you've already got a pretty significant pavement structure that's been paved, overlaid underneath it. So we're not starting from gravel. If we were starting from gravel, then we'd want to have a little bit thicker layer. But since you've got some structure there already, 1.5 inch overlay, 1/2 inch shim. I thought it was wise of Kevin to put this out just because rather not, not suggesting that do it or not, but you need to start thinking about it. It's coming. And it's your biggest road that you have. North Newcastle Road is our biggest through street. It may not have the most amount of traffic. Academy Hill definitely has more traffic, but it's the longest and it's busy. So before long, it's gonna need a treatment of some sort to be able to keep it.
Was it the county emergency plan? There was some consideration for, there's a pond that's above the level of the road.
Yes,
You wanna get into that?
I'm just curious how that affects our decision making here. Like, if we're gonna be rebuilding a road, do we wait until we know what the county wants to do?
They're
To
not gonna touch it.
Yeah,
ever?
It's, no,
Private
Ever.
property.
yeah, it's probably.
Okay,
it's private property. It's a major problem.
yeah,
The only reason it stays the way it does, well, I'm not gonna get into it.
We'll leave it like this. So there's a lot of history with that dam.
There's a lot of history.
Yeah.
And we've investigated it very, very in depth, I'll say, both legally and, from emergency preparedness.
yeah,
And there have been opinions given to the landowners in the past and reaffirmed in recent history with the findings of that. And, as a municipality, we can't invest public money on private
Right.
issues. And that is 110% a private issue. And the landowner is aware that, if there's any potential damage that comes on the public right away,
They're liable.
right, 100%. So unfortunately, as much as I'd love to say, yes, we can control the water and fix that, we gotta just play the road, and whatever happens, unfortunately, is gonna happen to the road if something.
I didn't wanna plan a capital project
I hear you.
if there was gonna be some sort of, 2 years post project.
You never know. You never know.
The dam fails and.
is there a more expensive conversation about North Newcastle Road that we need to consider having at some point?
Well, that's the conversation about shim and overlay this year or next year, soon.
Mhm.
Is to delay the larger reconstruction that should happen for that road at some point. So I mean, the
Kick the
challenge,
can further.
one of our long, well,
Yeah,
I mean, it's the longest road that the town has.
Yeah.
Academy Hill's close, but not quite.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Not quite that long, but it's the longest road we have, and it is probably the most traveled road that the town has. In terms of town maintenance road, so. Not doing anything soon could. Necessitate the reconstruction sooner. So that's why I put it here.
I just want to put a little bit of perspective on this. I have been talking about rebuilding North Newcastle Road every year that I've been on the board. Every year. The second year I was on the board, we got a quote to literally reconstruct the road, full depth reconstruction. It was $650,000 then.
Oh, what wouldn't give to have be just that now?
We didn't do it because it was too expensive.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at $778 for a shim and overlay.
Yep.
2 million for a full depth reconstruction,
More.
Oh, more than that.
2.5, 3,
Oh, yeah, I think you're probably pushing 4.
4.
Well, I'll give you a frame of reference, 2.5 miles, Churchill Road, very similar in Augusta. We won the bid this last fall for 2.3, and that's not full depth. That is shim and overlay, guardrail improvements and some drainage improvements.
So 12 years time.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. We kicked the can for 12 years on that road. I've kicked the can for 12.
right. Who knows
Some
how many years
perspective
it's
on
kicked
that,
to that.
But he wants to be hard on himself for that, and I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of credit. You made a conscious decision to tackle a whole bunch of the roads And we spent 300 and some odd thousand to
We did.
overlay that
We
at
did.
that point in
We
time.
did, and that helped.
And we
And
had
that-
zero
I
complaints
know,
for like 12 years.
And it's
so-
helped. It has sounded good. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, the cost of deferred maintenance is real.
It absolutely is.
Is there a general, like a, I know there's bad spots and better spots, but what's the life expectancy on the drainage, like your crop, like what cross culverts, the driveway culverts? I know there's a few areas where water runs right across the road.
Yep. So we could go out through there and do some ditching, you know, that would be a good thing. But all of your cross culverts on that road have been replaced.
Okay.
So we did all those, there was a couple different programs through two different sections that I know where we did bunch one year and then. Subsequently did the rest, and that was before me as even your road commissioner. We started replacing some of those culverts, driveway culverts. I'm sure, I have not gone out and looked at each driveway culvert, but I'm sure there's still some metal driveway culverts out through there that need to be replaced, but in general, cross drainage wise on your road, you're in decent shape. All right, sand and salt shed, so unnecessary evil, you know, I don't even know when it was originally done, but as we all know, that was a dump at some point in time. There was an asphalt pad placed, DEP current requirements for sand and salt storage is that it has to be placed on an impervious pad. So there was a pad there, and I will be completely honest with you, I have no idea where it is. It's there someplace, it's under years and years and years of sand. We find pieces of it every now and then. I'm sure that we've damaged it. I'm sure the people before us have damaged it. I mean, it's not a situation where I think anybody has been grossly negligent in their actions. It's just a matter of time and that particular area is as stable as a dump can be. You know, it was capped and so it's moved a lot. We really need to do something up there just in general. I fully respect and understand the conversations about the public works thing. I don't think that that overwrites the obligation to still have a facility that no matter what you do, we can still use. We've got to do something. The sand just freely runs off the banks. We try to clean it up. If you remember when CMP came and did their easement to get out to that little island, they did some stabilization of that slope and kind of cleaned it, made a little spillway for some water to grate, which is great, but the problem is it's all sand. So that, you know, when the water runs there, it just takes the sand with it out over the rocks. You know, it's just, it just needs a little help, to be very frank with you. It's time. We've got to get a decent impervious pad. I welcome any of you to come up there in probably about 3 weeks when the frost starts coming out. We get a spring snowstorm and we're through, you know, 8, 9 inches of just muck and trying to get through. It's just.
Right, it's not like you're putting anything heavy up.
Right. So basically what we have here is to pave an area that is your existing sand and salt shed. It's roughly 29,200 square feet. And now this, to my point before, right, we're running on this with some pretty heavy stuff, 3 inches of base and 2 inches of surface. We can save some money. We could take an inch of that out, but I put a pretty decent structure there because we scrape it a lot with a loader and we're constantly turning around. We don't have an in and out. So everything up there for all of our sand is turning around in that spot. It's a tough little area, 29,200 square feet.
29,000 square feet?
Yeah.
200, yeah.
So, the price that is presented for you is 2 inches of surface, 3 inches of base. It's roughly 8, it's roughly 900 ton of mix. And it's really just to grade the existing lot. We don't have in our snowplow contract, we don't have a clause that says, hey, when we wanna do something, you gotta come pick up all your stuff and move it and then bring it back when we're done, right? There's no, it's there. So on purpose, you'll notice that over the last 2 years, I've been weaning that pile down on purpose so that in hopes that when we do something, we don't have half as much to move. But it does cover some time in there to move it up, pick some of that up, grade the whole lot, and then pave that existing lot and match up. We paved the entrance a few years back. And we would match up to that so that that lot is now paved through and through, and then restack the sand back on top of it in preparation for
What about the structure itself?
Salt.
the salt shed.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, it just exists. Again, it's much like North Newcastle Road. It's something that we spend a little bit of money. We've got a decent amount of time. Had to replace it once for storm damage, but I mean, it really doesn't hold the town.
Yeah.
It's a darn nickel.
It's not in the way of the paving.
I haven't planned for any reconfiguration of the lot. Like, I didn't look at it as this is the time to. You know, if I had lots of changes, then I'd go to the state and see if we could get a second entrance, so we could have a loop and
Yeah.
yes, move the buildings, redirect the pile so that the sun angle is right, so it melts appropriately, but that wasn't really my goal here. It was more just to stabilize the site, give us something to work off of until such time as a more permanent solution. I mean, if you really want to get into it, I'd give up the paving to have a building over the top of it, but I don't think we're gonna get a building for, $265.
Yeah.
I'd love to, but.
What's the what's the exact condition of that building?
The salt shed?
Yeah.
It's just a fabric, it's a
Any
block.
holes in it or,
No.
struts?
No,
or
it just got replaced after one of the storm events, and it was FEMA declaration storm, so we did get reimbursed for that.
Thanks.
I just replaced the front, how when the fabric comes over the top of the last rung, there's a claw strap that goes up through to draw it tight. Well, that broke, so we just replaced that, put that back together, so, but no, there's no gaping holes in it or anything. It's. For what its purposes, it's completely
It's
fine.
good for this season.
Yeah,
It's good for its temporary purpose.
yeah, well, right, yeah, temporary long-term use, right? We did have to do electrical upgrades up there
I just got that invoice.
from Paul, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a 2-year temporary fix 6 years ago.
Yeah, but it's worked out okay, right? Yeah, I mean, it's, but yes, right.
Something like that.
So we just had some electrical work up there, that needed to be done on the main feed coming in. So we just pick away and do what we gotta do. It's nothing fancy, but it works. Let's see.
That's what you have for that's for
That's it, right?
priced out
Yeah,
projects,
there we go.
but recognizing there's still a long list of areas that need work and where they stand, so obviously 1.8 is not in the cards for this
Yeah.
year. And it's maybe a conversation about how do we prioritize this, and Seth, it might be helpful for you too to say, here we go kicking the can. You
Yeah.
move the North Newcastle Road and you can take care of basically everything else. Need another $100,000, but we have some on the reserves.
I just pulled it up.
Awesome,
We have 877,225.
yes, but once you take
But we
out,
have not had the spring bills come out.
Well, right, yeah.
Yeah. We did Academy Hill paving for 160 is the last invoice that came out.
so the other things that are still there are Hopkins Hill Road. And
River
the
Road,
River Road, so that's a good chunk of that.
Because if we did, was it 65, 750? 750, and what's the other one? You said Hopkins Hill and what was the other road?
Well, not this amount. That's.
Oh, all right.
Higher.
Last year, I'm in the wrong
Here you
one.
go. Hopkins Hill's 598, 731.
So you're basically 847. Yeah, you're right there.
247, 505.
Yeah, that leaves us 30,989.
So that's how much cash we have left in our reserve account after those two projects are done. One of the questions that's coming up for the warrant, I hope you had a chance to see the new bond question conversation and saw my memo. We're gonna need to ask the public to vote again on those two particular items, because we neglected to include a financial statement. That'll be a special town meeting, hopefully on the 23rd, and we talk more about that in a little bit, but if we decide to go forward, or you decide to go forward with the bond question for the 600,000 to take care of Hopkins Hill, that gives you some extra cash that still sits in the reserve account. So you do have some flexibility there if that gets approved.
Do you know what that number is?
600,000
What's still sitting in there?
would stay in here, because what we would do is pay for,
But plus some, right? Because.
Oh, well, no, you're right, I'm sorry, we'd have to subtract out some that would go towards the, bond payment.
Yeah,
What do we say, 40 for the first year? We'll probably just move 121 in the future. All right, we need to talk about the bond amounts, but technically reduce that 900,000 in the future.
But even if we do finance Hopkins Hill, I don't think we all of a sudden have $600,000 of free money to do something else with, because that money was approved for the road. So I mean, it just seems like we,
The money was approved for, money was approved for your capital roads and with the plan to do Hopkins Hill.
yes,
If you bond, if the approval is to do a bond for Hopkins Hill, you would bond for Hopkins Hill
Correct.
and then use that $600,000 for other capital road needs.
but not, I would, and my preference would be not in addition to $900,000 more.
No, but we
No.
could say, take
Right.
Newcastle Road out of this. And be down in the 1.1 range
Mhm.
and then take 2 of that 6 to make up the difference.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, am I saying that right?
Yes, but the other part is you still have bond payments to make. That we haven't taken into consideration,
Right.
so your 900,000. Needs to be more like 850 in the first year and 700 in the second year, 780. It's 120, I think it's the 2 projects.
the debt.
But that's not,
service
that
is
includes the truck.
That's, you're right, that's the truck and.
Get the truck the hell out of the capital.
But it's still something I haven't budgeted, I mean, you still
Yes.
need to pay for all this somehow,
Right,
regardless of where it comes from.
Yeah.
And trying not to raise taxes crazy,
yes,
just trying to think strategically about what can be done.
So let me just ask, doing half North Newcastle Road.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can break this up into thirds, quarters, however you want, just as long as. My only recommendation to you is whatever you come up with for a solution, you gotta stick to it, right? Can't do a quarter and they go, oh, next year I'm not gonna do a quarter, you know,
Oh, yeah,
I mean, if you're gonna commit to it for whatever the breaking point is, it's kind of what you gotta commit to it.
Well, I'm sketchy as hell, so.
You'll end up with 2, vastly different roads, right?
Yeah.
And
No, I'm just spreading the burden.
yeah,
That's all I'm thinking.
you don't want one half eventually, if you don't do something 5 years down the road to really need to be fully reconstructed and the other side to be, it's.
I think in my mind, you do half and half, not quarter.
Yeah.
Spread it into 2 years, my mindset.
Can definitely do something like that. That's, yeah, you can break it up like that.
Yeah.
And there's other options. I gave you a shim and an overlay. It's a pretty complete project. Maybe you wanna do just a 3/4 inch shim. See how long that gets you. But just know that whatever the depth is, it's directly proportional to time. So that's the key, that's really the key to it. If you do a 3/4 inch overlay, you're gonna get 7 to 8 years and you're gonna really, you're gonna start to see it pretty good. Whereas if you do something better, you're gonna go much longer, like what we've seen with the overlay that we've done in the past. Obviously, to reclaim it and to do it. I realize it's not in the cards here, not part of the discussion. If you're gonna do that, it's a completely different scope, but you're gonna then look to 20, 25 year life expectancy,
Yeah.
so it's just a relevance of time versus materials.
Yeah.
No different than anything else, right? Shingles on a house, paint on the side.
You don't know what year that North Newcastle Road was
I'll have to go look. I'd be lying.
rebuilt?
I'd be lying to you, Ben,
12,
without
13 probably.
giving you.
No, I mean, when
Rebuilt.
the original,
Oh, rebuild.
Oh, the original one was?
yeah, the original rebuild,
Oh, I don't-
Peanut butter and jelly sandwich or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
when they made the sandwich.
I'm not sure, but I don't know. I gotta be honest with you, I don't even know where to go to look.
Yeah, I'm just curious because, that,
Well, it would have been town meeting vote to approve the amount of money for it.
I feel like it must have
You can
been,
find it. Michelle, that's a question.
it doesn't ring anything in my memory. even as a kid.
No, I think.
So, I'm
No,
gonna
no,
answer the
I
question,
think
I'm gonna put my hands over my ears.
Rebuild.
Doing the whole rebuild, 3.1 levels, what are we looking at for?
Oh, I think you're 4.5 number.
It's actually not as bad as I thought you were gonna say, but, right.
But we still have too much money in the budget for this year in this spreadsheet.
Well. Sorry, but there is something missing, I think, and I promised 2 residents I'd mention it. I know it's not popular. But the Mills Road sidewalks.
Yeah.
Desperately have to be addressed. They're not even on the list.
We don't have any of those road sidewalks.
Yeah,
I know.
Oh, you mean the ones we do have?
Yeah.
I know that, there's considerations for inclusion with the BPI.
Yeah.
But if we wait for that, train to come in. We could be waiting forever. I think it deserves a place on the 5-year plan. I'm not necessarily saying it has to be this year. Although. We've just added a bunch of residents.
Yeah.
Right. To it.
And those are horrendous sidewalks.
Even just maintenance would be.
Well, it's.
It's beyond maintenance.
It's
Well,
beyond.
that's what I'm saying, I guess, maintenance, yeah.
Well, what
So-
amount of planning does that require? Is planning,
The 2 residents that talk to me about it don't care about planning. They would literally they just want something they can walk on.
Yeah.
Anything would be better than what it is.
Pretty much
And I don't wanna throw bad money away, but. It is an actual liability for the town, not just like a theoretical liability, it's
it's in rough shape.
it's an actual liability.
No.
Are you thinking to go all the way past Stewart Street to where it actually terminates? 'Cause it terminates closer to that red house, if I remember correctly, there's
Yeah.
a
Drainage,
section.
yeah.
Oh, great, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, correct.
Permeates at Stewart Street.
Right
Yeah.
at this, right across from Stewart Street.
Yeah.
Actually, I think there's a section that goes in front of that gray building,
If there is, it's in such bad shape, you
Yeah.
don't even know it's
Yeah, it could be,
there.
but
but right there is where.
Originally, it went to right past that, right before the overpass.
Yes, that's what.
Yeah, it went to
Where it
Moby.
stops.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that-
Stop. But everybody wants to go to the post office.
Yeah.
Everybody. I don't know if that's a phase 1, phase 2, but like,
you can walk to the post office.
yeah, being able to walk to the
Yeah.
post office.
Should be awesome.
Yeah. I know it's a state road, but we're doing sidewalks on River Road, that's a state aid road.
The state won't
The
do
state's
that.
not gonna do it. State's just not gonna do it, ever. So. And if we wait for the water and sewer district. When we were opposed to do it,
You're done now, though.
they're done now?
Yeah, we've made the water is all swapped off as a result of the most recent state work. So that is complete, so you won't have to open the road up for that. And the sewer as well, they made a sewer modification up through there, so you should be in good shape for utilities through there.
So, I mean, just as a suggestion, maybe we could, if that's the case, maybe the suggestion would be to come up with a number to put in just for a basic design.
Yeah.
Not like the creme de la creme.
Do you want, the only question, you just leave this all back, I mean, as of recently, we've had some parking, you want parking, on-street parking for there?
So,
I
yeah.
think that's a bigger,
That's
that's a bigger question.
a bigger question,
It's a
but
bigger question. Ultimately, that would be amazing.
yeah.
But if getting the sidewalk addressed. Is hindered from happening by the conversation about parking, we just need to get a sidewalk that's passable.
Okay,
That's more important than having parking at this
so
point.
you pick. No priority, regular maintenance can go pave it tomorrow without asking anybody. To having to ask a lot of questions, get you parking and slide the sidewalk over.
Yeah, I know.
Which one would you like?
I mean, I think.
Slide it over which way though, I mean, towards the.
Well, he's
away from
talking
the
about
street.
you have to approach all the landowners and.
Yeah, no, I think that's complicated, but,
well, you might, honestly,
They might.
if you were ever gonna approach the landowners, when better than right now?
But-
You know, I mean, if you ever wanted to have that conversation, all the landowners on that road
walk.
want the sidewalk fixed.
You gotta be very careful with this conversation, because as soon as we Soon as we cross the bridge from maintenance to construction,
Right,
all of the standards and all of everything changes, right?
Yeah.
So ADA compliance,
I get it.
Yeah.
all that jazz. So right now, as it is right now, we could, without
Maintain.
curb, right, we have zero pedestrian safety with curbs there. I mean, they're gone, right?
They never were.
Well, right, it just, so right now, if we were going to construct or build a sidewalk, we'd have to have curbs to provide that barrier. We can go maintain what we have right now without any barrier and
I think it's, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know where you're gonna put the curb though, cause that implies.
well,
we would, my
Right
point right
now.
now is we wouldn't, we would
Yeah,
just go.
so if we maintain it now, then when and if the VPN actually comes through, we construct
It's a
and
rip out.
sidewalk and parking.
It's a rip out and redo.
Yeah.
So whatever money we spend now is wasted.
But in theory,
But that can be said.
in theory, it's only 10% of what we're paying that later,
In theory,
yeah.
so I'm leaning, I was always holding out for the better option,
Right.
which is let's
I know.
build it with sidewalks, let's investigate parking.
Did
Yeah.
Mr. Benson get hold of you?
Well, I've never stopped talking to them about that. This has been, every time I see them, hey, you fixing the sidewalks for me?
Yes, I know he.
Every time.
I'm with him,
So,
best history teacher ever.
yeah, but at this point, it's gotten to the point where it's like,
Yeah.
it just, the maintenance option is so much more attractive.
It's a problem, and it just needs
It's
to be.
just a problem that needs to be fixed. So again,
Let's get a number for
let's
it.
get a number,
To maintain it.
see where, to maintain it, and
Yeah.
see where we can, if we can do it,
Yeah,
when we can do it.
maintain, I think is the word.
I get worried, I really do get worried.
Can we push the North Newcastle Road off to next year and the year after?
Yeah, you can.
Because we still need to get this number down anyway. Even before we maybe add something like that into it.
When you say this number, what we're,
The bottom line.
Bottom line,
This year, fiscal year 27.
1.4.
Well,
Still too high.
North Newcastle might end up, being a conversation about, future bond.
yeah.
Yeah.
And rolling that into the new, what are we calling it, unified bond financing road project. I don't know how you, well, whatever we're gonna call it. But I think that
The new approach.
the new approach is gonna be a part of that conversation. I don't think we should pay for it out of pocket.
Well, but we probably shouldn't bond to shim it.
No, I
To
don't.
do a
think-
shim and overlay doesn't sound like a bond project.
Yeah, but if we've already got one bond going.
Yeah.
You know, for projects we've.
Get comfortable with that.
Yeah, and so the question is, you know, as we've looked at we've developed a, debt ratio, strategy. When is it gonna make sense financially in the capital road project plan to add more bonding debt?
Right, not every year.
No, not every year,
So
absolutely.
we gotta figure that out, yeah.
We should, but if we make a plan to address it in say 28 or 29, we're gonna bond it in 29, we're gonna build it in 30 or whatever the case may be.
Well, and
Academy
Academy
Hill's
Hill's coming
all
up
up
in
in 30.
Yeah.
Academy Hill coming up in 30, we have
We're
to
on the
stick
same
to it.
page.
Right.
We'd be kicking a can for 4 more years.
No, I mean, we're gonna have to do something, right, at some point, I had a question though. Oh, for stuff, so we're looking at this year with our goggles on. What's the next holy crap number that we're looking at?
I mean, I'm gonna defer that to Kevin. Kevin, he's used the community, the county to use his program to identify his traffic counts. And I mean, I think that we can rely, I know where I want to go. It's just a matter of politically, if that's where the board wants to go.
Well, we don't have on here,
Yeah,
Pleasant Street needs to work.
Gone,
yes,
gone.
they are,
Well,
they are definitely the two next roads.
It's not very nice.
South Tire Neck and Kings Highway,
Mm,
they're just gone,
Kings Highway's difficult though.
and it's a long.
it's only what, like 14 feet wide?
The only
They
reason
don't-
that
it's like
Hopkins
that.
Hill is where Hopkins Hill is because we should have. That's where we were headed, but we were told no, so
Mhm.
it absolutely needs to be South Tire Neck and.
Yeah,
And then quite frankly, after that, East Old County Road is gonna be a project. And You know, Kevin's got some irons in the fire, you know, on that particular subject, but that road, you're looking at a significant capital project to even get that road close to some compliance. It's,
Wait, didn't you just say South Iraq and East Hope County Road?
no, South Iron and Kings Highway
Oh, and Kings Highway.
need to be the two that I would go to right off, but East Old County Road, similar to North Newton. East Old County Road is a project in a half.
Yeah.
It needs to be done, but I mean, you're looking at some substantial engineering to cut the top of that hill off to make it
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
It needs to be widened. It is very, very narrow. It's got some limitations for wetlands, obviously, in a couple of different areas. It's a project.
But the scope of that automatically puts it into a bonding category.
I
Yeah.
personally believe
That,
that.
that one,
100%.
that one I'm chasing with grant funding.
That's great, that's awesome, I'm just saying, like, there are two conversations happening here, right? One is, there's three conversations, what are we gonna handle in maintenance? What are we putting on a 5-year capital road that we're gonna reserve money for, and what are we reserving for bonding?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what you're saying
Fair
is,
point.
we should be able to handle through our 5-year capital road plan, reserve funds. The next two roads that we should handle through that should be Kings Highway and South Iron Neck.
100%, yes.
But the East Oak County Road rebuild
Should be your
is
bond
too large, and it should be handled through a bond
after Glidden Street.
after Glidden Street. Glidden Street's a bond.
If it was me, if you were looking to me, I'm stepping way outside my.
No,
line.
no, we're asking
we're
for scope.
Mhm.
I'm not asking you for money, we're asking for
Glidden
scope.
Street, I would think 100% should be a bond.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna start, if my experience tells me anything, we're gonna start on Glidden Street, we're gonna hit a bunch of unknowns. And then it's going to bleed into Pumping Cross.
What are you talking about? There's only 250 years of history on it, right?
So I think that I easily think that you're going to be, you know, $700 to $1 million on Glidden Street all day long.
What's the expected life for the work that will be done there?
Glidden Street? Oh my goodness, I mean, I would stake my personal reputation on 35, 40 years.
So limited in traffic, right?
I mean, you're in a very controlled environment, you have your drainage all taken care of,
Yeah.
you have a decent road base, I mean,
Slow traffic.
yeah, I think.
Low light traffic.
Well, like.
I mean, look at the light that we've got out of Academy Hill.
Mhm.
We bonded that for just over $1 million and that's held up very, very well. I think you easily double the performance on Glidden Street all day long.
Well, yeah, I mean, the traffic volume on Lincoln Academy, it's gotta be 5 times
Oh,
on Lincoln Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No, way more,
more.
I mean, Yeah.
way more,
Way more.
yeah.
Yeah.
10, 20 times.
Another, but an easy road that's not on here is Pleasant Street. That is in terrible shape.
Yeah, that is too.
It is,
It's not on the list anywhere for,
it isn't, and I mean, this area, I think, comes into that $30,000 worth of design work because there's a very, very isolated, small drainage system on the end out here. I have no idea where it goes. I know that it's there, but I don't know.
Is that the one you ran the camera down, couldn't find anything?
Well, no, that was a different one. This one out here is just one culvert that just goes out there and I don't know, there's one basin that's an old culvert flipped upside down. I mean, it's just, this area, whole neighborhood is going to be have to be encompassed drainage wise by that study. Because it's so interconnected between that bleeding over into here bleeding down into there, that it's gotta be all part of a bigger project. So that potentially would be a bond scenario for that 100%. Now, the scope of it, the overall size, maybe if you did no other capital projects for 1 year, you might be able to tackle this as a capital project all by itself, contained. But in general, I would think Glidden Street would be a bond area, North Newcastle would be a bond area, and East Oak County Road, 100% a bond area. My road where I would go capital wise is Kings Highway, South Iron Neck, and North Iron Neck.
that's gonna take, that takes a lot of, if we're not gonna be bonding every other year, that's a long time span.
Yeah.
Sits up and down.
Yeah.
Other people
Kings-
with the
South and then
I
north.
mean, you've got the map, right? Yeah, I mean, you brought that up for a minute, or second or two. And, yeah, but there's no.
No, this is almost 2 years old now.
Yeah, it's just data too, but. I guess what I'm getting at is for these other really large ticket, you know, expenditures, we really should have that somewhere in our planning scope, you know. And, you know, looking out,
More than 5 years.
yeah,
Looking out 10, 15
well, I'm
years.
thinking 3 to 5, but yeah, because. Yeah,
Well, so I was trying to frame this in here's your fiscal year discussion for next year.
Mhm.
Here's the next year out, here's the next year out, you know, FY31 at this point. I don't have, I'm not gonna sit down and ask Seth to price out all of the projects
Right.
today because
So cheap.
they change a bit every year, but I'm understanding like these are things that he and I sat down and kind of try to map out what we thought of as needs projects, in part based on the RSMS data, and just the knowledge we both have from traveling in town. We hadn't taken into consideration some of the things that the public have said we want done.
Mhm.
So, it's still a lot, I mean, you guys, this town has done an amazing job for some time trying to deal with its roads, but there's still a lot to do, and some of them are the bigger, more expensive hits.
so what I'm.
Can you go back to that map for 1 second?
Yeah.
In the long-term picture, I mean. When we're having this conversation about what we're gonna be, you know. Able to bond, we gotta keep the bigger picture of, you know, public safety too. Cause there's some big ticket items in that budget that are gonna be coming down the road, some apparatus that's gonna be really expensive. So, you know, where does that work into, coordination with roads? You know, we have a really good bond rating right now, it's like nothing. I think we're allowed 7% of valuation. According to state,
7% of our total assessed value.
which is $33 million.
Yeah.
But, you know, our policy allows us 2/3 of that, which is
22 million.
22 million. And
Still too much.
yeah, so I mean, if we went out and took on bonding, that's what I'm saying, in interest, right? Yeah, so at some point, we're gonna be paying interest, you know.
Right.
That's gonna be,
You wanna think about how much of the budget you wanna dedicate to debt service.
that's
Right.
exactly, right, that's my point. And so, and how does that, you know, what's the time sequence of taking on that burden, so. I think we need, a bigger picture, you know, along with the sort of annual budget review to figure out.
Yeah.
do all this stuff.
I asked Kevin to bring this up only because it's very hard, right? It gets kind of depressing when you're talking about, oh, you've always got so much ahead, but. If you look at all the green and then you look at potentially for this year, even just picking some of the basic stuff out, the little Hopkins Hill, that's orange.
Mhm.
Will be green. Academy Hill would potentially be all green down through there. All that would be green. I mean, it's a long way from where we started.
It's a long way from where we started.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a long way.
It is.
Yeah, no,
You know, so I realize it feels daunting, but you know, to
But
Kevin's point, there's still a lot to do, but you know, kudos to all of you. You've done a nice job with trying to figure this out and
but I
make
think
some
it
positive
comes from
choices.
smart planning, you know, and smart heads in the room, so.
I
Not this head, but I'm just saying, in the past years, it's
Over time.
taken some time and coordination to get on a good track, so.
Yeah, and I think we're finally at the inflection point where. We can actually reasonably consider long range planning.
Yeah,
We couldn't do that before.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
We're not putting out fires.
Well, I mean, we're still
As
kind of
much.
treating our budget like we're putting out fires.
Yeah.
But I think we're right at that point where we could gift our future selves, the future board, a plan
100%.
that they just have to follow.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
You take your biggest road being Orange, North Newcastle, you're not in the position like we were 10, 12 years ago where it had to be done, right? You asked me, without a doubt, you could get another year out of it, no problem. You could probably get, if you really wanna push it, we're gonna have to start doing some patching and some other stuff, you probably get 2 years out of it, right? So you've got a little bit of wiggle room where we didn't have before to, okay, what next year, do I wanna do something just half or a quarter, like, so I think you're in much better, but
Tree work needs to be done on that road though.
it does, yeah, it's ready again, I mean, we did it a long time ago and it's ready, they grow. But we have literally done nothing to North and South Dyer Neck besides grade the roads in a very, very long time.
What needs to be done to them? Everything.
Yeah. They're extremely narrow, I mean, they need some attention, they really do, they need to be ditched. And some tree work definitely needs to be done. To my knowledge, there's been some cross culverts on North Dyer Neck, South Dyer Neck is limited in what's been replaced. It's, both of them are substantial, I mean, Roger lives out there, coming down through the marshy area there is really starting to become deformed. A lot of water, it's wet, it's low through there, that road could really stand to be, a foot of elevation on that road would do it justice, 100%.
Wow.
It was what it was when it was created and it's lasted for as long, but it's time. They overlaid that, Roger, what, probably 20 years ago?
Before that, 30, probably.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while.
Well, look at how it's lasted, for it doesn't get a lot of traffic,
Right.
but the pavement is still, there's not big chunks missing and it's broke up some.
Yeah,
When we get on it in the spring when it's tender, but it's really, for as long as it's been there, it's held up extremely well.
Good.
it yields a little bit longer conversation,
Mhm.
I'm not suggesting this, so for anybody listening in public, don't shoot me just yet, but Kevin and I have looked. It's definitely a safety concern for South Dyer Neck having one way in and out.
Yeah.
I think that it's definitely worth a conversation, even if it's not open to through traffic, we control it so that. But to have means to be able to get people out through the north side, I think is definitely something that should be considered on a
You
board.
get out there, you just need some clearance.
Well, yeah, and it's not bad, with a minor investment to make it at least rough to have to use it for emergency, you probably could.
Yeah.
But, those folks,
We had the National Guard out there like 20 years ago. They did a 2-week summer camp there and they worked on that road. And you could get through it back then.
Yeah.
But that was 20.
Before the beavers moved their dam onto it.
Well, the beavers have always been there, but
Yeah,
that culvert's
they
never
weren't
been
there.
replaced and nobody's ever done anything with the beavers, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on my list of chasing down grants. It's in our hazard mitigation plan as
Beaver relocation.
culvert
Jeff.
work, road.
Just need some good trappers.
I know one.
We know,
Yeah.
we know.
So what do we need to,
You don't
Come to
necessarily need to
here.
achieve anything tonight. I think it is chew on this information and we can talk more about it at a subsequent budget workshop. But it is understanding like there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
And it's picking priorities. You have Seth here tonight. You could ask for his.
I think,
Mhm.
I think,
I agree with him on the salt shed. Trying to get that done while the sand is while we have mostly depleted what's there, so we can scale back and get that taken care of, but. I don't really see kicking anything else except, delaying River Road further. But,
What about Timber Lane, the shim and overlay?
or that. And or that.
I've driven around there and I've walked around there, but I wasn't really paying attention to the road, which I am more prone to do nowadays. But
Yeah, it was the stretch coming in was done one point. The bulb has
Yeah,
never been
it's the
done,
same.
so that's part of the problem. It's pretty broken up.
it's in rough shape.
In fact, I think. Well, we didn't break it up into 2 sections, but I think she would have argued that this is red.
Mhm.
Obviously, this isn't a problem anymore.
I think the exercise you just did where you said, this seems like a bonding issue. This is, a pay for it as we go.
yeah,
If we could silo
Yeah,
projects
I'm gonna look.
into
at
that and then prioritize within those groups. That would help us, that would inform our decision making on the 5-year plan. I think better than anything.
Well,
Yeah.
the other thing is, we've been talking about this, and I'd love to see Kevin, you're so good with the charts and the graphs. But a timeline view,
Mhm.
when Tor was talking, it kind of just hit me like.
Yeah.
In a timeline view, we could actually lay in the projects.
Yeah.
And the bonds, and you see the bond payment hits
Yep,
to the, you know what I mean?
It's
Overlay.
where my head went immediately too.
Yeah, okay.
Throwing,
That would be an
throwing,
amazing visual.
Yep.
For this conversation.
yeah,
but then also with little asterisks throwing in some of the fire equipment, because we can't ignore that that's gonna
It
hit.
would just be another table underneath that
Yeah.
table. And yes, I have an idea of how to visualize this for you all.
I
you
think
don't have to sleep tonight, Kevin. Get on it, man.
we're meeting tomorrow, emergency meeting. I think it would be also helpful when we return to this to have another, just a little discussion about like, you know, what is our bond philosophy? And so just, you know, I think my philosophy is there's, for one thing, if you're gonna bond something, it's gotta last longer than the loan.
Then the bond, yeah,
Right, than the bond. So we're not gonna shim and repair, like you said.
Yeah.
Right.
A shim and skin coat, you know, on a bond.
Yeah.
Because it's,
you don't take out a
It's in
loan
your
to pay
bond.
your house.
we're gonna be in the hole after 7 years, so. So things like that, I think, you know, return on investment. So we need some headroom too for, you know, things that, you know, like, you know, the BPI. Like, you know, that has potential huge return on investment for taxable revenue for the town, for density. You know. Yeah, so there's a future investment in that bond that will return money to the town. Hopefully exponentially in the future. You know, maintenance is always one of those things, it's just gonna get worn out, we're gonna have to. You know, pay for it again at some point in the future, so I think those things are kind of worth, you know, thinking about.
Man, I remember Tor, you and I were talking about this. You also mentioned things like if we do move town office and we have to borrow money to get that done,
Mm,
bonding is a better option than cash,
Yeah,
or some
I mean,
trade or something.
yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that's. Hopefully more than a 50-year building, you know, that's a.
And it's a return on your investment.
It's a return on investment, it's, you know, there's, yeah, plus, you know. All the other things it opens up for taxable income downtown too, so. But we have these kind of precious projects in kind of the atmosphere that we think about, we don't talk about, we don't have anything on paper, but. You know, those things, as they become real, we're gonna want some money and headroom to take those on. And if we're extended in debt already, you know, where does that fit in? So,
Cash flow is king.
yeah, yeah.
We got warrants a separate conversation.
Yeah. Well, and this is just one part of that conversation.
Yeah,
But I mean, the whole bonding philosophy and how you finance stuff. And the stuff Tor said is a lot more important than this point, but. You wanna think about the scale of the stuff that you're bonding to. It's not worth doing a bond for a $50,000 project.
Right.
You get a loan for that, so. You know, thinking about moving the town office, how big is that gonna be, and is it worth hiring a lawyer to, you know, do the bond work, all this nonsense that you have to go through on the financing. But, yeah, separate conversation.
Mhm.
And I'm more than willing to come back. This isn't a closed door for me. I'm here at your leisure and Kevin's direction, so. If you guys have questions, this is not something that, you know, bring back any point in time. I'll work on some numbers for you on that sidewalk. And just give you, you know.
Maintenance,
options and-
just a little maintenance over there.
yeah.
It's a huge definition in DOT world for sure, you know,
Yeah,
one,
Just,
you know,
just
it's,
one thing on sidewalks. Whether it's River Road or Mills Road, I think we always have to have a sidewalk. In our budget,
yes,
it's just because we can't talk about walkable communities and not support
Sidewalk.
walkable communities, and sidewalks are. Are the infrastructure for walkable communities, so. I think we always, philosophically, I think it's important to support that somewhere.
We're gonna move away from this for now. Which comes back to this bond question, so I hope you had a chance to review this memo. It really outlined what piece we missed as part of those bond questions.
There's no way we would have known that.
Well, it should have been caught and I apologize for that, but
Yeah, well,
it's not gonna cost us anything more to have to do this other than some of your time, both Monday and then before our next meeting on the 23rd of February, if we're to hold the special town meeting then. So I would like to bring a warrant to the board attention on Monday with language, which I already got from Melissa Tibbetts, who I brought on to help us with this piece of the bond questions. She already drafted it, it's already done.
great. Who's she?
Alyssa Tibbetts Law, she has been in municipal government for decades and now has her own attorney firm.
Dealing with the
Doing
bonds.
just bond counsel stuff, just in South Portland. Portland is our office. Let's see here. She did send me. Sorry, I'm like,
Okay, look at your inbox. This is the first.
yeah, so here's the two proposed articles. So this is talking about that first, do we use 600,598 and change for the Hopkins Hill Road? This shows you what the debt for the 10 years would be is 143,000. So understanding that this question had to have included a little bit of the financial statement component to it. And as well as if it was a ballot question, it also has to have the municipal officer's recommendation included too. So something new we've all learned, anytime you want to do this. And then Article 2 also shows this is for the part of the fire truck we don't have lined up. Total truck's cost is $656,000. We currently have $200,000 in our reserve account. If this budget currently has 50,000, we're gonna have to bump that up to 56 just to cover it. Or modify this to be 406, but I've already submitted the application for exactly 1 million. So this shows you that over 10 years, we're gonna spend $95,000 in. And then the last piece is our current debt. This is outstanding is about 1,044,000. We're looking to take on another million with total interest of 238,000. So all said and done, oops, this should have been,
That
should have been the sum of,
Yeah, I totally skipped that part, sorry.
no, that's on me, I think. Or that's total additional principal and.
Oh, that's
So,
the
no,
new
that's right,
one.
that's accurate.
That's the new-
So the total debt we have is about 2.28 in debt after
Adding the
this.
two together.
Yep, when you think about our debt as of June 2026, we're about 2.2. And Tor already mentioned sort of where our debt management, I think is still too high. We can modify that down to 11 million, say one third of the state statute amount would be fine. And not aiming to go there anytime soon, but recognizing we have quite a few large projects we need to plan out over the next 20 years. And then Michelle, as town treasurer, gets to sign this, certify that those are accurate. But yeah, these are the questions I'll put into the warrant form for Monday.
Okay.
And I'll include updated payment sheets. So we did those, we talked about those on the 10th or 27th of January. Go back to January. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
This
What
is
happens
the
when
fastest way.
you have a gazillion tabs? Which I also have, I'm not pointing the fingers.
We always have
Phones.
This is one of 4 screens that I have. on.
Yeah, I only have 3 screens, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, right there with you.
Kevin?
Yeah.
are you good with-
You want me to stay?
You're all set.
You good?
Yeah, I think so.
Thanks, Seth.
Thank you, Seth.
You?
Thank you for being here.
I stay warm.
Yes.
So you can see, and this gives you an idea of what, debt payments are, annual debt payments are. They're gonna go to 122,000 with these two bonds. So
That's on the $1 million.
that's on the $1 million.
No.
For the 10 years, we'll be paying about $120,000 a year. First year's only 36, but recognizing like it will go up to 122. So when we talk about the next fiscal year, is that a reduction of capital? How do you offset that large increase on the bottom line?
You can subtract the fire truck loan. Well, actually,
It's gotta
not
go
gonna be on
somewhere.
there. The fire truck loan is going away.
The other fire truck loan is going away.
Yeah,
but
right,
there'll be some-
Is going away, and I saw that was in the budgeted amount for that was adjusted for this year.
It was, there's been a savings, which I probably shouldn't have created, just to have it there to offset fire truck component to it. And we are submitting these as, we're doing it under one application to save money, but they're two separate loans, so we will be
Tracking
tracking them separately. They're just under one application of the main bond bank. I just did this exercise showing both
Yeah.
together, so I could give you an idea of what the cost is gonna be.
That payment is less than Academy Hills payment that we pay each year.
Is it?
The 122?
Mhm.
For both the
We
fire
pay
truck.
200 and something.
Well, it was a $2 million project.
Yeah,
This is only $1 million
That's
and
true.
only 600 of it's. for
didn't
fire.
fire, sorry.
So I wanna bring that to your attention
Okay.
for discussion Monday night. I mean, do you wanna modify that at all? Cause now would be the time to,
The loan amount, you mean, or?
yeah, do you wanna borrow for Hopkins Hill?
I feel like we've already assessed that and we've
Yeah.
decided to do that.
Okay,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had that discussion. Ad nauseam,
Yeah,
and
no, yeah, and
came to that conclusion.
I mean, not that it's nothing, but it's a manageable loan amount and, you know, including, talking about the interest and the debt service on it. So I feel like town's voted on at least once, so.
Yeah, I don't think we need to re-litigate that conversation.
that's it, guys.
Woo-hoo.
I mean, I can. Talk more about all of these other equipment pieces, but I didn't. That's all I have.
That's good. Good conversation.
Thank you guys very much. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome
pretty
work.
awesome.
Yeah, good.
A lot of work.
I love the format, I love,
You like it? Good.
yeah, I love it. It's, right here.
Awesome. I've got our notes and I will do something and send it out.
Cool.
It feels really advanced, not old school. It's
Right,
very modern.
that's right. We're trying.
Okay.